All right, it's a very good morning to you all. We welcome you to the Informa Digital Television. We promised you that we are going to speak to the mayor of the Matatiele local municipality today at this time. Now we are having our mayor, Councillor M.Mbedla, as per our promise. We're coming to you from his office at the Matatiele local municipality offices here in Matatiele in the Eastern Cape. We also invite you to participate in this conversation by sending your questions or your comments. We will pick some of the questions and the mayor will respond to them. Thank you very much. Let me welcome the mayor of Matatiele local municipality, Councillor M.Mbedla. Mayor, Duna, welcome.
Thank you very much, Matatiele. Greetings to you, to your team, and greetings to all viewers of the Informa newspaper digital. Greetings to all communities and citizens of Matatiele local municipality.
All right, thank you very much for giving us this time again. And I just want to kickstart our discussion about asking you a question. You've been the mayor of this municipality, and I'm sure your term is coming to an end shortly. And what I want you to know is that what makes you happy and what makes you not happy to be the citizen of this town so far?
Okay, let me start by what makes me not to be happy. Because I think it's important to start with the bad ones. Matatiele local municipality is a political institution. It's run by politicians, politicians who belong to different political parties. Currently, we are made of 51 councillors, with 38 coming from the ANC, 5 from the Democratic Alliance, 4 from in fact, it's 5 from the DA, 4 from the AIC, it's 3 from EFF, and we've got 1 from the UDM. So that tells you, we're coming from different backgrounds in terms of ideological orientation. And you would understand that we may have a certain number of ANC councillors, which is 38. It's a very big majority. But most of the time, you would find that we don't find each other on many issues. So which then impact on how the institution, which is the municipality, responds to the key challenges that are facing the community. 2, what makes me not happy, I will not mimic this, it's the manner in which government departments, more especially the provincial departments, respond to service delivery issues as raised by communities from day to day. I would want to stress this issue, that in Matatiele local municipality and its surroundings, it's not just a town. One, we're a town that connects the Eastern Cape province to KZN. We're a town that connects the Eastern Cape province and the Republic of South Africa to Lesotho. We are a town that links Alfred's district municipality in the Eastern Cape with Joe Gabi district municipality. As I am sitting here, it's 2014, 2015, communities of Matatiele, I will not even go and mention villages, which areas. They protested on the conditions of the road. One of those roads was the road that links Matatiele to Kashasnet, which is supposed to be a priority in whatever that we do. You would remember that during the struggle for liberation, the communities of Matatiele played a very important role of hosting liberation heroes who were on their way to cross to Lesotho when they were going to exile. I will mention that I'm told, in fact, it was related to me by one ANC national leader that Uba Moses Mapita, when he was leaving South Africa, he crossed here in Kashasnet. Okay. Crossing that border was not like you cross today. They would come to Matatiele, be hosted by the community, and be members of the community of Matatiele before they cross to Lesotho. So that tells you, Indobana, since 1994, communities of Matatiele have been having these expectations. Another thing is that you have to remember that in Matatiele town, Cedarville, post developmental local government elections in 2000, belonged to KZN. Then there was this engagement between Eastern Cape government and KZN over the issue, because it was a headache to have rural areas of Matatiele belonging to Eastern Cape and the town belonging to KZN. Then that was sorted. Matatiele was integrated to the Eastern Cape, and we had this local municipality called Matatiele Local Municipality, which encompasses the town, Cedarville, and the rural areas. Well, it may not be proven or confirmed, but abantu baseMatatiele, they have got this belief that Matatiele would have been better serviced if it was in KZN. It's something which is a debate for another day. I'm not here for that, but I'm starting with things that you said. I must raise issues that I'm not happy about. So if you go to Mzimkhulu today, the Mzimkhulu that was in the Eastern Cape, it's much changed to the Mzimkhulu that is in the KZN. But with Matatiele, it's a different story, which means you may find that people who were saying Matatiele must go to KZN and all that, they will believe that they are justified, you see. So those are the areas of which I'm making this appeal, that our government, more especially the province of the Eastern Cape, I believe it's high time that they look at this issue, Matatiele and its surrounding areas, seriously. Coming to what I'm comfortable with, when we got in here, we had serious service delivery backlogs. We have tried to manage such, and we've tried to cover a lot of areas. I'm happy that what we had promised ourselves and made a commitment that we will achieve in terms of electrification. Our target was 10,000 households by 2022. Seemingly, we will be able to reach and outdo that target, because currently we're sitting at 93 million budgeted for villages that have never had electricity. But yeah, this thing, electricity, you must understand that we are still talking about universal access. That means it's people or villages that have never had electricity. Not villages or households that have been constructed after a particular village has been electrified. I'll make an example of Tshepisong Masakala. Tshepisong Masakala were the first villages which were electrified post 1994 in Matatiele. But the reality now is that those areas have grown. They have got new villages that have erupted or mushroomed, and those villages are falling behind in terms of electrification. So I'm not talking about that. I'm just talking about people who have never had access to electrification. We've got areas like Otabachicha, Mzonga Namakhoba, Mparane, Didi area, Matandela area. Those are areas that have never had electricity. But currently, if you go to those areas that I'm mentioning, you would find that not everybody is happy, but in terms of progress, asisenayo ngokweMatatiele into ethi there are wards that don't have a single village that is not that is having electricity. So we have tried to cover a lot of ground. When it comes to road infrastructure, we are doing fine. We are changing the face of Cedarville. We are changing the face of Matatiele town. We are changing the face of Maluk. Yes, of course. When it comes to town, the town has grown. It's bigger than it was. The traffic is heavy. So you would find that we inherited infrastructure that was meant to service abantu abambalwa, which were the whites that belonged to the town. But now the town has grown, meaning which abantu, they will judge us by hayi dolophu imdaka, hayi dolophu in potholes. Yes, there are potholes, but they must also connect the issue of potholes with the new roads that we're constructing. Okay. And what plans do we have to address other infrastructure challenges in terms of your roads? So you would find that Tina says, I was better Lizanda said we have worked, ne? But abantu kwelinye icala they would be seeing other things of which it's natural and will never feel bad about being criticized. Let me. Okay.
You are raising an issue here when it comes to the national road, which is the one that is coming from here to Kasha's Neck. I just want you to touch to something that we interviewed people there from Lesotho, who were from Lesotho, coming in here to repair this same road that we are talking about, and they mentioned that they spoke to you. Do you remember speaking to them about doing that?
No, it's not the truth.
Okay.
What happened is that the port manager, the Kajasnek port manager, raised the issue with us that business people from Lesotho, from Kajasnek, they want to repair the road. Yes, the road is badly damaged. And when we were, because the road is an asset of the Department of Transport in the Eastern Cape, we had to raise that with the regional director, which is Mr. Chavucha, and Yenage Ebezo refers to his superiors. But nonetheless, even a meeting, because we had agreed that for them to do whatever, but we must have a meeting and have a memorandum of understanding about what is it that they will be doing and what will be their expectations and what will be our participation as the Eastern Cape government. But it's takes lapho sabona ke sebeqhuba, and we could not stop them, because if we would stop them, that would mean sistopa into ezoncedisa abantu, and abantu they would feel that we are not fair. But that be that as it may, we have referred it to the Eastern Cape and we raised it with the Premier. We're still hoping that the Department of Transport is going to do something.
All right. The other thing, Mayor, that I have observed through the term that you've been leading, there is a certain section of community that does not attend meetings that you guys are inviting, like your IDP meetings and stuff. The business people, especially those we regard as big business, white people, they don't come. You will see one white person coming to a meeting. Have you ever checked what is the problem there?
Well, since I've been the mayor, I've made serious strides in making sure that we have an integrated community. We don't have whites, we don't have blacks. we have had engagements. We invite them into our business engagements. They would come, but you don't see them having a commitment of saying we want to work with the municipality. But leyo ke into, it's up to them but they want to participate. And I wouldn't want to be sentimental in dealing with that issue about why benga participate and why benga engaging. Because it's not only white people. We go to rural areas, stakeholders, they don't participate in IDPs. You would only see them when there is a protest, that okay, there is this stakeholder that is leading the protest. But when you convene IDPs and all that, people don't want to participate in such country. Those are opportunities for them to engage and for them to understand what are the challenges the municipality is having, what is the progress that we're making in as far as development is concerned. Then people kukhona abantu who are always criticizing without offering solutions to the problems. But well, we will never help.
Maybe can you say they have lost confidence in the institution called municipality?
Not really. I can't say people of Matatiele have lost confidence, but the reality is that society has got a particular group of people. So you may find pockets there of people saying that we have lost confidence, we don't trust you. But when you engage with them, other people may see that we are actually on the wrong side of understanding of issues. So that you may not
Okay, now let's talk about the issue that we have seen recently, 2 days back, in the municipality, where service providers, they always come and close down the municipalities. What are they saying there? What is their problem?
Well, currently, what is being raised is the issue of beneficiation of local businesses. Well, I must admit that our progress in that regard is very minimal, and we've been trying to make strides. But in reality is that when you are dealing with a group of people that are not properly coordinated, you will find these challenges. So another issue is that as an institution, we also have some people who really do not have ethics as required from Khulumende. So you would find that what instigate service providers or local contractors to stage protests and say they're closing the municipality, you will find that there are some people who are involved in such within the institution. People who will go to service providers, leak information. People who will say you will never get a tender, will never get a job. So people say those things, and those are the issues that are being raised by service providers. It's one of those things that one cannot help. But into endifuna uyistressa ke yileyo uba kona iyafuna ustress ebantwini bakuthi into yobana umasipala ngowabantu baseMatatiele bonke. Umasipala belongs to all sectors of the community. Umasipala ayingowe-service providers zodwa. Yes, service providers, they may raise their issues that they want to raise with the municipality, but the law doesn't allow them to close the institution.
Now, in an interview with them, they are saying you have an agreement with them that says you must not take out the money from 200,000 to 4 million. Do you have that kind of an agreement? Do you know?
Well, I don't want to jeopardize the engagements that we are having with them by raising issues that are being in dispute between the two parties. because the municipality is having another understanding in as far as that agreement. They are having a different understanding. Yesterday we had a meeting and we agreed that we are deadlocking and will require an intervention of a third party. So they were saying they will be the ones that will be engaging the third party. So we'll wait for that moment. So for now, I cannot divulge issues that we are currently dealing with in as far as the service providers are concerned.
Okay, but what do you have a policy to support the service providers? A policy that said such and such amount of money is going to be spent
No, we
locally.
don't.
You don't have a policy.
No, we don't, because you must understand that the municipality is having its own supply chain management policy. That supply chain management policy must not be in contravention of the Constitution of the Republic. So in terms of National Treasury regulations and the MFMA, local is defined as South African. So I will never say as Matatiele local municipality you are setting aside a particular amount for local people. Local is South African, and we've been trying to get National Treasury to assist us in developing, because there is this issue again that 30%, that 30% must be local. It's written like that. When you go to National Treasury will tell you that local is South African, and the municipality now must be in a position of navigating through by having a policy that talks to local. But what you must know, if you are having a tender or a quotation between 200,000 and 4 million, then someone from Mthatha believes that they qualify for that particular business, and you disqualify them, they may take you to court and you won't stand left.
But in as far as this issue is concerned, you are in discussion, you are still in
we are still engaging with the service providers, and the municipality is willing to assist. But you'll find that we have policies of SMME development, where we provide trainings, we provide empowerment. There are those who are involved in the housing industry. They are trained by the municipality, they are trained in how to manage finances, but in reality they don't want, the ones that we're talking about, they don't need such an intervention. They want business, of which a business shall never be demanded that we want business. In reality, the municipality, that's why the municipality must navigate in making sure that we don't contravene the law, but we also make sure that our own, which is our local business people, they benefit in the tenders.
All right, let's go to another issue now. We have got 3 buildings that have burned down here in this town, and people or residents. The one at Cllr, it was Chelsea at the rank there, and the one at behind the building at Save, is it Super Save or what? The supermarket there, and the last one was the one at Station Road, which was burned down. And although we don't know the cause of the fire, but the blame is on the municipality that they do not have a resourced fire department. Why is that?
Which is the blame is wrongly placed if it's placed to the municipality. One, the municipality doesn't have a function of dealing with fires. That function lies with the district municipality. Of course, we understand that district municipality is catering for Mbezana, Tabangulu, Zimvubu, which is Mount Olive and Mount Frere, then Matatiele. So they do have a fire station in Maluti. We may not necessarily be sure that what is their turnaround response time. But coming to the municipality has a fire department that is very not that much resourced. One thing that you must understand, Mr. Mbedla, is that Municipality is an institution. has got a responsibility of making sure that they take services to the people. And one thing that even the Minister Tito Mboweni is always stressing that Uhulumende of South Africa is struggling to do or to perform because of a very huge wage bill. Municipal of Matatiele is trying to navigate kwezo issues over. We must soon have a balloon structure, which means we must employ a lot of people. Then you have few resources that are going to the people. So another thing that we are planning to have, which is seasonal, that we are going to have people which will be employed casually for the fire season. But you must remember, issue of fires is not only meant for the fire season, which is winter. These fires that we are talking about, they happened in summer, and the municipality tried to respond and we failed. Another thing that we must stress, our citizens, they must be fire compliant. And every building that is in town, the owners of such buildings, they know what is the what are fire compliance issues that they must comply with. Unfortunately, people don't, and Municipality doesn't have that license of inspecting fire compliance issues. They lie with the district municipality.
Okay. Now, let's go to another issue of bylaws, Mayor. Do you have bylaws in town, in this municipality?
There is no municipality that can operate without bylaws. We do have bylaws, but what you will find is that when we enforce bylaws, we find resistance. For an example, currently, we have, which you must understand, we have our local people. They sell what is called Nando's. They use gas stoves in open areas, which is against the bylaws. The municipality, I think it was 2017, confiscated such because we've been writing to them to comply. They didn't. The municipality confiscated. The municipality was faced by protest, where people wanting their equipment. Currently, the municipality has removed people who are selling from their vehicles in the around the Market Street and the Station Road. Again, there we are finding a resistance from the people. Of course, we understand that it's their own income, but the reality is that in town, people who are selling whatever that they are selling, they must be licensed. Hawkers are licensed. If you are a hawker, you must belong to an association and you must have a license. But our people don't want to go through that route. They just want to come and sell their merchandise in town, which is wrong. Another problem that we have in as far as the issue of bylaws. In Matatiele, we do have streets that are meant for hardwares. But the property owners now, because the property is not owned by the municipality, they allow those people from Pakistan, from India, from China to just operate. If you can see, hardwares are just mushrooming everywhere. And we cannot help that, but we try with the little that we have in terms of resource to make to comply. But the resistance that you find, if a person is renting in your building and is opening a hardware in an area that doesn't have that is not designated for a hardware, will find the resistance from you, and you are a citizen, and that person is not a South African citizen.
Which therefore means, Mayor, you are incapacitated. You are not you don't have a capacity to deal with those property owners.
Well, there's only one route. It's not an issue of capacity. When people don't comply, you must use the law, which means, I'll raise an example. You were covering that story of Imikuku.
Yes.
And it,
yes.
you were covering that story. That is a bylaw. That you can't erect temporary structures as approved by the municipality.
Okay.
What did we get?
I understand.
It's not that we didn't. We went to court. We were granted a court order. We involved the sheriff. The sheriff that was there then sat on top of that court order. Then the new sheriff came. She wanted to implement the court order, and we found resistance. And unfortunately, we were not singing the same tune, even with some councillors around that issue. And as I told you in the first place when we were starting, when you were asking me things that I'm not happy about, is the issue of coming from different ideologies, where the people were told by councillors that they must ignore the court order, they must protest, they must do whatever, they must do whatever. That is the issue umasipala ajongene nayo. When it comes to the law is there and everybody knows it. But when a person breaks the law, they will get sympathy from the public.
But at the same time, Mayor, maybe some people are talking about inconsistency when enforcing these bylaws. For example, there are still Chinese that are sleeping in the shops, but nobody's doing anything about that. And now these people in the street who are regarded as the poorest are being forced to abide by the law, whereas there are other people who are regarded as having money. Nothing is happening to them. That is the inconsistency. Also, an example that you've made of the imikuko at Area C. If you go here in town, you'll find that there are houses with imikuko, but you've never said anything. I think that is where the problem is.
Look, Andy. If you're saying there is umkuku at town, you must say in Elf so and so there is a mkuku there, and you go there, you find out that mkuku, because we also have a bylaw that says when you are erecting a structure, you are allowed to have a temporary structure for your equipment, for your material, for all that, and that mkuku is approved. So if you have an issue with an mkuku that you have seen in a particular residence or residential area or household, you take that to the municipality, the building control department, you raise the issue, you find that mkuku is approved. And if you can take me to a mkuku and say, this mkuku was here in 2016, it's still here, and there are people who are staying in this mkuku, then we may have an argument there. You may have a case. You may even sue the municipality, because the municipality can sue people and it can be sued. So the issue of inconsistency, I may not be in a position to respond to that, because it's an operational matter. I don't evict people. I don't remove people. But if there is a policy that says you are not supposed to sell here, that because somebody is selling, or you believe that somebody is sleeping in the shop, does not make you right when you're selling in the street.
Okay. We are still listening to the interview with, we are having a conversation rather with the Mayor of Matatiele Local Municipality, or Councillor M.Mbedla. Guys, you will help me if there is a question, because my laptop is off now. So let's continue. Let's talk about now the issue of a policy conference. Many people know that a policy conference is an ANC thing. ANC goes to a policy conference, and now the municipality also goes to a policy conference. Talk to us about a policy conference. What's happening there?
You see, Putandi.
Yes.
Umasipala by law is required to review policies.
Yes.
We've got policies, we've got budget-related policies, we've got policies for community services, we've got even the bylaws themselves. They need to be tabled with the council. We've got human resource-related policies. We've got communication policy. We've got infrastructure-related policies. So what we usually did previously, because policy reviewal is part of planning, which is something that I'm sure we're going to talk to, which is the strat plan. part of the strategic planning workshop is also to review policies.
Okay.
But the reality is that if you want to do the strat plan and deal with policy reviewals, you may end up having 2 weeks in one place dealing with these issues. So in the best way is that we would go to a strat plan, come back, and departments, that is municipal departments, they would then arrange policy workshops. We used to call them policy workshops, where community services would have 2 days. All councillors, they are brought there, they are presented with policies of community services. These are the policies that we are having under community services. We understand the policies, we input with policies as in JA, and all that. So this year, you would remember that you had an issue with the strat plan, that
Yes.
people are going to go to Durban for a strat plan and all that, and we told you that we will not be going to Durban for a strat plan because we were still under alert level lockdown, alert level 3, and such conferences were not allowed. So we held our strat plan virtually. Now, there was a suggestion that came in that the workshop that we used to do when we come back from the strat plan, for where you take a particular day for community services, a particular day for this, we can arrange now a workshop which is similar to how we do the strat plan, and organize a policy workshop.
Okay.
So that workshop is a policy review. It's not a policy conference as you understand the policy conference of the ANC. Even that one of the ANC, for that matter. The policy conference of the ANC is where the ANC is reviewing its policies, existing policies, and introducing new policies.
Okay.
So that's what we're doing.
All right, now let's come to the issue of a strat plan. As a strat plan, what guys, what do you have that you can say? We had a strat plan, and this is what we have done for the community of Matatiele, and we are happy about it from the strat plan.
You see, its strat plan is not an end in itself. Its strat plan is part of the planning cycle of the institution. So the planning cycle of the institution in terms of the Systems Act says, you see now, we are finalizing, we're at the final stage of E 2021-2022 plan, planning cycle.
Yes.
When will be, the last week we were having an outreach, IDP budget roadshows, where we were telling our people, this is the money that we'll be having, this is how we're going to spend it for 2021-2022. Do you know where that comes from? In July 2020, the municipality adopted a policy, an IDP process plan, which now told you that the first step is needs analysis. Scan the environment. The second step, strategize. That's where you come in with the strat plan. You look at what you have and what you are likely to have, your institutional capacity to perform such functions. That is called situation analysis. Look at your strategies, existing strategies, where you can improve. So you cannot say, as a result of strat plan 2021-2022, this is what we have done for our community. What we do for our communities is always the end result of a planning cycle. So when we're holding a strat plan, we planner for a community. So what you see as an advert for electrification, rural electrification of Vigindo, rural electrification of Nwengan, rural electrification of Manzi, electrification of Muigete reserves in Tabachicha, electrification of Lukolweni. Those projects, they come as a result of the strategies.
Okay.
Those are the strategies.
Okay, do you have to go to Durban in an expensive hotel to have a strap plan?
Well, it depends on how you view it. Firstly, you need a venue for a strap plan.
Yes.
You need a conducive environment for a strap plan because everybody must be here.
Okay.
Their mind must be here, their brains must be here. So in Matatiele, we do not have, in fact, it will never work for us as Matatiele local municipality to have a straight plan in Matatiele because if you are having a straight plan here, where are you going to have a venue that is big enough to have to host such people? You find the venue. Are you going to have abantu with their mindset focused on the straight plan? No, because manager must sign things. So whilst she is in town hall, let's say we are having our straight plan in town hall, Walaza is bringing documents for her to sign. Councillor was 14 is being told that bridge he must leave the straight plan. M must be somewhere signing and all that. So in the straight plan, the key issue is the environment that must be conducive, the capacity of the venue and all that. It's not necessarily about Durban. But what happens is that municipality always go for cheaper. So when you look for venues, if you find a cheaper venue in Durban, you'll go for a cheaper venue in Durban. We can't go to East London because there is a view, in fact there is an agreement that municipalities, they must spend their monies in the province. But the reality is that for Matatiele to go to East London is too expensive than going to Durban.
Okay. Now, we are still having a conversation with the municipality, with the Matatiele local municipality mayor. Kuthiwa khawuke usele amanzi nje kancane sehlise nje. Meanwhile, we will be talking to our viewers who have sent us some questions. Maybe the mayor can respond to few questions. I know we received a response from viewers too, but many of the questions were related to the issue of Indlela, of which Indlela have been dealt with by the mayor. And one question in the end is the question of graduates. I'm sorry, graduates who are saying they are not accommodated in this municipality in terms of internship, in terms of mhlawumbe nibanike nje amathuba into okubana mabakhe bangene basebenze bazibonakalise iskills sabo. Do you have that kind of a plan, or what is it? Mhlawumbe siyazi nabo abayazi mhlawumbe. Can you talk to that?
We do.
Yes.
But the reality is that we cannot cater for all graduates.
Okay.
I may simply tell you that we just had an advert that was inviting applications from people who are interested for internship across the departments. You'll find 2. But in Matatiele, if you say we've got 2 positions for internship for HR, abantu abenza HR Matatiele bangaphi? You'll find 200.
Okay. And you cannot accommodate all of them.
You want 2?
Yes.
You go to finance, you want people with accounting. How many people have done accounting who are at an entry level? Because you'll find that people who are having issues with such internship graduates are people who will see the advert and say, no, I cannot. Let's say somebody's in Durban,
yes,
somebody's in Joburg, then they see an advert for internship, then they see, because we also pay according to our grade as a municipality.
Okay.
We also having an issue as a municipality that we are not seemingly having a reflection of the demographics of the town. We don't have colored people, we don't have Indians working for the municipality, but in reality, those who qualify to work for the municipality, they don't prefer to work for the municipality. They are in Durban, they're in Pietermaritzburg, and Cape Town, but they belong here. So I told you about issue wage bill. So you cannot go above a particular limit because you say you want to cater for all graduates. It's painfully issue abantwana abangafundanga, and it needs a collective effort from private sector, from the public sector, from national government, from the provincial government. Otherwise, Masipala alone doesn't have the capacity of catering for all the graduates.
The other question that comes from a viewer is the issue of land. Do you have land as the municipality? How much land do you have here? How much black people do have? Maybe have you done a land audit and find out about the ownership of the land?
The land audit, currently we are embarking on a land audit. Service provider is on site doing that, and we'll have that report once it's presented to council and it will be made public. Currently, I may not lie to you and say we have that report, but the reality is that the municipality as an institution does have land.
Okay. All right. The questions esizibonayo ke apha babukeli bethu zi-questions endiqonda okokubana umeya sedilile nazo, ii-questions ezifana neendlela, ii-questions ezifana nee-potholes sedilile nazo umeya, ii-questions ezifana nemicimbi, omnye ubuza nge-malls. Now our parents, sisters and children are getting raped because of okay, the issue of these boys that are terrorizing people here in town. Have you ever sat down as the municipality and think about what can you do to deal with those issues? The issue of drugs is growing, the issue of housebreaking is growing in town. Maybe have you ever had a meeting with the police and see what can you do with this issue?
We do have such engagement with the police. Unfortunately, the police alone cannot fight crime.
Yes.
We also need the collaboration efforts from the stakeholders, community, private sector in fighting crime. The reality is that we are not in control of the drug abuse and the drug problem. And we are using the drug world. It's a very sophisticated matter, and it's a syndicate that involves a lot of big guys. And you would find when you're trying to enter into that space, then you really need people who have expertise there, which is the police. So the municipality is just there to facilitate programs, engagements, workshops, but we are there to play our part as a municipality. But we cannot say sizawukwazi ukubamba abantu, sizokwazi ukugqitha abantu amaphara. Amaphara besiwa arrangele ukuwasusa pha during alert lockdown alert level 5. Besuswa bearrangelwe indawo. They didn't want to go there, they preferred to stay there.
I think a question which is I think is the last question for our discussion. Ikwabuzwa ngumbukeli apha, the issue of do you have an industrial plan as the municipality where you can open industries? Also, your LED department, is your LED having a plan to open up for businesses to accommodate the business ideas and assist in that regard?
But remember that, I can't remember, it was 2014 we had an LED summit. I think you were part of it. We do have an LED department, but the issue of resources. Currently, the LED department is sitting around about between 6 and 7 million capital budget to assist developing farmers, to assist those who are involved in crop production, to workshop emerging contractors, SMMEs, to deal with issues of women in construction or women in business. You'd remember that issue here, developing industries, it's not a government function, it's a private, it's something that urhulumente makasebenze with the private individuals to do that. For example, let's talk about development in Mall. Since 2013, we've been sitting on top of an engagement between a developer that wants to develop a mall in Matatiele, but that development is resisted by citizens of Matatiele who are coming from the white community. Masipala wayekhululile umhlaba, those guys they are refusing with a particular area that is earmarked for the development. So the issue of developing industries, it's quite intensive and needs collaboration from government and private hands.
Right, thank you very much, Mayor. But I would like your last words to the community of the Matatiele. What would you say? What would you say, just as a mayor of this municipality? Is it a nightmare to lead the municipality?
It will never be a nightmare, because one was not gun pointed to become a councillor in the first place, because before you become a mayor you were a councillor. So, and when we were nominated, we were asked, are we accepting nominations? So we accepted. So it was quite a privilege to serve, and an honor to serve abantu baseMatatiele, and I'll always praise them for people who are patient and who are very committed into developing their own town and the municipal area. But abantu sizawubakhumbuza ngento ethi COVID-19 is still with us, yes. And abantu, they still need to comply with the regulations of COVID-19, more especially the wearing of masks, washing of hands, social distancing, and sanitizing. We also want to conscientize our people that as we are going to elections, local government elections, we as in the podcast space, we always refer to elections as a silly season, because it's where citizenry, they believe they will use the elections to force government to do things, which is a misconception of what elections are. But we are appealing to our people to exercise their right and vote, but what is important, they must register to vote. And local government elections, you vote where you reside. So it's unlike national and provincial government elections. So abantu siyabacela bayithathele phezulu into yobana lilungelo labo into yoba bevotile. Eyoba bavotele bani, it's up to them, but for me, I will always say it's better to continue with what you know than to try things that you don't know. They must go to PE and ask people of PE. They must go to Cllr and ask people of Cllr who thought trying other things would work for them. It doesn't work. Rather, continue supporting the current government and make sure that where you have issues, you raise them. And we're appealing to our people to stop abusing children and abusing women. That must also be stressed, because it's a pandemic that we're facing as a country, and it's a serious pandemic. So siyanida ukuba sisebenzisane in dealing with it and making sure that our people are aware of such issues.
Thank you very much, Mayor. Thank you. Ngexesha lakho. We also thank the communications department yalapha kwaMasipala for giving us the time. It's always like this xa silapha ngalo lonke ixesha xa simfuna umeya siyakwazi ukumfumana, siyabulela kakhulu. Keep those questions coming so that the communications department will view them, and they may come to the mayor for the attention of the mayor, so that one day he can answer to them. Thank you very much. You can like and share.